I dive some conchs, I dive fish, I dive lobster. Basically everything.
Why the Millie from last night, girl? We don't think like that.
Look at the birds, because we have about 91 different species of birds.
I lived in Union Island about 55 years now.
So I was born on this little island.
We've been fishing for maybe over 35 years now.
In 2013, the internationally acclaimed development method, P3DM, came to Union Island in the Caribbean. As always, the aim was to gather the thoughts, wishes, share the problems and the dreams of the people of this island, and to understand what makes Union Island tick.
Okay, welcome to Union Island one and all. This is an island like no other. We are marginalized by sea from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we function nevertheless.
So Union Island is one of the Grenadines island of St. Vincent. Union Island used to be a plantation. The majority of the things that they plant were Sea Island cotton. And we plant corn, peas, cassava,
potato, pumpkin, okra, those kind of things were in abundance. Everybody had a garden. You could have lived off a garden, in those times.
Once upon a time, this tiny island was nearly self-sufficient. As well as some trading with South America, farming was a way for the family to get the majority of their food. Today though, the land is dry and largely uncultivated. All that's left of the farming industry is in the sea.
Well, I think my most regular source of income is fishing.
I go fishing almost every day.
If I fish in this area now, where the moon is like between full and last quarter, if I doesn't feel the fish there that much, then maybe I'll have to go to another area. So by doing that on a continual basis, what really happens now is like I can say, okay, with the full moon, I can go to Palm Island and fish. Or with the last quarter moon, I could go to Chatham and fish. So it's like a routine. You learn it and then you just keep it.
Well, the ecosystem as people described it 50 years ago is not what it is now, so it has degraded a great deal. It's still in a good condition where people could still obtain livelihoods from them and tourists could benefit from them, but they have been degraded, and they have been degraded by a lot of reasons, and the coral reef throughout the world have been degrading over the years too, and a lot of the corals that used to exist here are no longer existing too.
The environment with mankind right now is not too nice because they're not taking care of the environment. They more look to destroy than to build it up.
Martin Barito and his sidekick Arisha Joseph are on a mission to preserve the coastal resources of Union Island. They believe that the most important environmental saviours on this island are the people themselves, the Unionites.
One is because they know what's going on. I mean, they have the best knowledge of their resources and they have answers to, they know some of the solutions that could be had. And another more important reason, you want them to own what you're doing, you want them to respect it and you want them to protect it. And the only way that would be done is if they are involved and then they feel that they have a right as part of the process and it belongs to them and it benefits their livelihoods and their sustenance in the long run.
I need to see more young people get jobs because some of them coming from school have nothing to do, just sit home. When we sit home, they go by the roadside and just lime, have nothing else to do.
If the young people get little work to do, I think they could keep away from the drugs.
To understand the coastal ecosystem, we need to understand the people who use it. So what do Unionites do to make their living today?
We get tertiary education and then we come back home to look for a job and there's none available. You know, we have like 3,000 people, that's the population, and we have how many businesses? Not a great amount of businesses. So the locals, what they do, they become entrepreneurs or they fish during the season to sell the fishes.
You know, we do not have any industry or anything like that. Everybody gotta make a job on their own, you know, create your own job.
And the race is off. And the race is off.
It depends basically on the visitors for our income generating. Whether it's the people at the market, whether it's the water taxis operator, the people at the airport.
They do kite surfing or whatever you call it, you know. And it's very good. We look at it, but we never try it. So they are making use of the sea and the air. You know, when they have good breeze, they got good surfing going. And we will stand by and watch. Because we are not accustomed doing those things. We see them on TV now because we have electricity and all these kind of things, and now we get to see it real, you know, so there's a lot of changes. And right now Union Island is moving forward. We can say that we are in touch with all over the world right now.
Now we have cell phones and more computers, and we have the cable television.
Union Island is well and truly in the 21st century. But this hasn't helped the employment issue. The islanders rely on tourism, which is seasonal and prone to significant fluctuations. Not only that, but it skewed the average income. Some people got rich and others got nothing. And with the big bucks to be made, working the land becomes less and less appealing.
Well, it's kind of worrying because they just depend on things from overseas, which while they could go to the land and do something, but nobody wants to go back to the land. And I think it's a good reason for not going back to the land because we are not getting the kind of rain that we used to get years ago.
We have some very, very, very nice beaches. Very, very nice beaches.
Participatory model making only works if the community are involved. The legend, the language of the map, the painting, and the ideas come from the community. This process of collaboration and communication leads to conversations. Often, this is about what has changed the landscape and what problems that has caused.
It's very frightening to be in a hurricane. The first hurricane I've really ever experienced, I've heard about different hurricanes, but with my own experience is Hurricane Ivan.
If you remember what year Ivan, after Ivan, things change. You know, I guess the bottom get disturbed a lot. You know, enough of the reefs get moved, you know, the corals, you know, so I guess the fish migrate somewhere.
I think maybe because of the global warming that is taking place now, some of the fishes move more out to sea, in more deeper waters where it's much more cooler because, you know, these fish are supposed to actually live in a certain temperature of water. So,
Big Sand Way to erode it so bad right now. We see all the rocks, people trying to save their property. We used to go stand in there and just looking at the turtles moving along. They're feeding right there, the ground they used to be. It doesn't happen so anymore. Yeah.
Certain areas of bad development have caused painful and unnecessary destruction on Union Island. In Big Sands, an empty hotel began with the removal of many mangroves, one of the island's best natural defences against storm surge and erosion. On an island of this size, mistakes like this are costly, but they need a united community to stop them continuing to happen.
As I say, there is no more unity in the country. I think the name Union Island should change.
There is more people living now, so there is more demand on the resources. There are more users of it. So what we enjoy today is causing a lot of the destruction of those marine resources.
It doesn't make me angry, but it just makes me, what is my feeling? Like sad in a sense that we, the locals of Union Island, and the Minister of the Environment didn't see what they're doing to the land. Like I want to know who approved these projects. You know, who is the one responsible for these kinds of projects.
Well, it was supposed to be a marina with hotels and stuff like that, you know.
That was supposed to transform the area.
Supposed to transform the area, but didn't. Well, it did transform the area, but not for the best, but for the worst. I mean, you still have small amount of marine life there, but it's not as bountiful as it used to before. So it didn't bring much benefit. It didn't do any good to the people of Union, especially the fishers.
It's right here on the map. It's an area that a developer came in the 90s and presented a plan to the government, and the government gave them the green light, and they started the project. They dredged and filled, altered significant areas within this region of the island, and then the development went bankrupt and left the area the way it was.
That really cut off circulation in one of the most pristine marinas in Union Island, and maybe the largest mangrove area in St. Vincent, but also include coral reef, seagrass bed, and sandy beaches. So that failed marina caused circulation to cut off and caused a lot of death of marine life, and really destroyed the critical nursery area that is there.
The famous scientist Albert Einstein once defined insanity thus: doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. In other words, change your behaviour and see things change, and that's what mapping is really about on a community scale. So it's time to think, how can things change on Union to the benefit of the people and the benefit of their coastline?
So the community would like that to be resolved and addressed, and throughout the process we came up with a number of things we could do. One of it is to again probably look at an eco-friendly marina that could be built, but ensuring that the mangroves are still intact, the coral reef are restored, including the seagrass bed and sandy beaches.
Yes, we can have foreign investors coming in and developing the islands on a whole. We have no problem to that. We have no objection to that, but at least better surveillance, better approval of projects. When we have somebody coming in saying they want to build a hotel or a resort, I think people should be thorough in their work.
I mean, we gotta be so careful, these investors, what they're doing, and the whole interest, what we're gonna get from it, and at the end of the day, the effect on the economy, on the island itself. This is a very small island, so you gotta be so careful, what you choose to go into, or what you allow people who wants to invest to go into.
What I would really like to see, I would like to see a little more development on the tourism sector, and also a little more protection for the yachties.
Because then the money comes and the project finishes, and then what happens? When you have community engaged, they not only own what you're doing, but they would also continue to protect it and preserve it and pay attention to it. So it's always better, and the education they get too from it, and the kids would get from it. You know, it's always better for sustainability.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Local government is an organization you put together, you make decision, you take it to the government, central, and we go from there, you know. But you make that decision, not them stick it on you, and whatever they say goes, you know, or whoever the politician favors, get it done, and most of these people cannot get it done.
It's a 3-mile island, and you can do so much to it. It can be underwater depending on what it is we do to it. So I just would prefer that people take better care of what we have here.
Anytime there is a change of government, you find there always be a change of plans.
I don't think the government of St. Vincent support fishing officials in general.
Even the government right now, they're not looking towards us. All the roads are mashing up and they're not doing anything to it.
Oh well, technology can also help with tourism because people are able now to advertise their businesses, reach the outer world, and show people actually what we have here in Union Island, you know, on a whole. And then we have a new company, Kite School, where Jeremy and Lynn, they came in and they opened up a kite school, and that opened up the market for kite surfing. And we have new people coming in and discovering Union Island and what we have to offer. And even the kite surfers, when they come and I talk with them, sometimes they actually enjoy the social life we have here, that everybody is so friendly. You know, it's a great place, a great place, number 2 in the world for kite surfing, as Jeremy was saying. And other than that, we just have a great atmosphere here in Union Island to offer people.
You gotta run! Hey, Union Island, let's put him at the lead, Talco, and then turn around.